Welcome everyone to another night video. Today we have the refreshed Subaru Crosstrek, and in this night video we're going to take a look at these exterior lights, the interior lights, and get it out on the road for a test drive and check everything out. All right, y'all, so starting right up front, first of all, with Subaru, one really cool feature is that you're going to get adaptive LED headlights standard. So that's right, LED headlights and adaptive lights on every single trim. We'll talk about how well those adaptive functions work in a little bit. The LED fog lights are going to be on everything except the base model, but we've got an LED blinker in here, LED daytime running light, all LED high and low beams, and everything looks really nice. From the side here, you're gonna see a lot of body cladding, of course, but you got LED turn signals in the mirror, nice marker lights on the front and the back, and this white paint gives it a nice little glisten and a little metallic-y look to it, so everything looks really nice here too. You've got the same kind of Subaru claw taillight design that is an incandescent turn signal there, but overall I think things look pretty nice. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the brake and reverse lights. Now as we look at the cargo area, this is just a manual lift gate. No LED license plate lights either, not always something you expect on this class, but back here you got about 20 cubic feet total. I got more detail with, in my daytime review, but there is even a little light back here. Now, this is mainly what this is about. Turn that on, so at least you have a little light right there. Nothing extravagant, but this is what you get. Now as we take a quick look in the back seat, there's not much to say about this area. I talk more in the full review, but at least you have these illuminated USB ports back here, and the light up above can be turned on or off or controlled to turn on when the doors open. Then getting into the front doors right here, you can get approach lighting here if you want to. We don't have any, but you can have it set to have the lights turn on when you open the door or not. And we've got leather seats right here. These are leather power operated seats. You can get manual cloth seats or whatever. But again, I talk more about that in the full review. Let's dive in. All right, so on the inside, this is gonna be pretty brief, mainly just about the lighting. On the door, you have red lighting right there. And one of the big things in here is that you've got this little switch. So this goes up or down, which controls the overall brightness in here significantly. So it can control the screen brightness, the display brightness, even the button brightness, things like that. So it's nice to have a quick access control to change whether you have brightness or darkness. And we've got white lighting on the steering wheel. All your steering wheel controls can control the stereo, can control your radar cruise, this information display, everything like that. The base model doesn't get this big screen, but this one, in this limited trim, we get it, everything except the base. It's almost a foot as far as a vertical screen goes. You've got climate controls down there on the bottom, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on here as well, which are wireless on this particular model. The screen looks nice, and you've got a little ring of light around the volume and tuning knob. You can see that one over there. I really do like that. That makes it easier to see where things are in really dark situations. To change display brightness, go ahead and hit settings right there. You can go to display. You can control whether or not that dial controls this or not. You can turn that off. You can turn your display completely off, then use any button to turn it back on, or adjust the brightness with that setting. If you go a little farther over on your settings to the car tab and scroll down, there's a few different things you can adjust here. You can adjust whether or not your steering responsive headlights, your adaptive side-to-side headlights will move or not. Got a few more things that you can see right here, which is nice. Even your welcome lighting you can turn off or on, how responsive your automatic headlight deal is, and even your interior lighting on how long that's on or not. Now, as far as ambient lighting, this doesn't have any real ambient lighting except right there. And the one annoying thing about a light shining down on your wireless charging mat is that when you have something here, say the screen's off, it can kind of reflect on there and be a little bit annoying. I'm not a big fan of that, but I do appreciate some extra lighting. We've got some backlit USB ports and an auxiliary port, which are also very nice to see. Then you got red lighting back here, red lighting for your heated seat buttons right there, the electronic parking brake. You do have a brake hold, but you have to access it on the screen. Cup holders, everything's really dark here. There's no light coming down from overhead. But if I turn that on, you can see what you have right there. Again, more details in the full review, and the center console has no light on the inside. How about the glove box? Super dark down here. There is a light inside of there, although it's really, really dim. So this is a dark cabin. If you like dark cabins, it's great for you. The mirror right here, this is not automatic dimming. You can get that optional. It's the manual flipping mirror, and I honestly really appreciate that. Overhead, like I said, there's no lights up here, like ambient lighting shining down. But you got your sunroof controls, which don't have any lighting. You've got these two lights right here that you can adjust. And then right below that, there's a little tab that you can move side to side to make it so that the lights turn on when the door opens or not. So right now, open the door, lights turn on. I'm gonna move the tab over, open the door, lights don't turn on. Now when we turn the car on, we're gonna get this little headlight dance just like that. I think that's nice, just a little something I didn't expect for the Crosstrek, but that's because we have the adaptive lights standard. So as you can see, you've got a pretty good beam pattern. It falls off into the corner right there, but it's real strong on this right side. And if we hit the high beams, those aren't as bright and wide as I was expecting, but we have fog lights right here. You can see we've got a little extra width with that. I think that looks nice. And these headlights actually get the top rating possible from the IIHS, mainly because they've got good distance and the adaptive function on all trims. The headlight controls are on the left stock over here, so you can keep it in auto, you can go off, you can go to your parking lights just like that, or go into your headlights if you have it in auto and you turn your high beams on. Let's see here, you'll see the A in there with the little headlight icon. That means your automatic high beams are on. If you turn your switch all the way up to headlights, that's going to disappear, even if you have your high beams on. So that's one way to turn them off or on. All right, y'all, we are now behind the wheel of this Crosstrek at night, and in this night drive, I'm going to talk mainly about how well these headlights do, the performance of them, and give you a closer look. I got a camera here. We're going to zoom in on these headlights once we get on a darker road. See how the automatic high beam function works, the adaptive lights, all that stuff. Talk a little bit about driving dynamics, but the full review is reserved for that. So my first impression with the headlights is the fact that it's awesome that they have adaptive headlights on all trims for this Crosstrek. Sometimes that's reserved for higher trims or for more expensive models altogether. Like if this was only on, you know, maybe the Subaru Ascent or something more expensive and bigger, but it's on this. And that is just a nod to Subaru for putting safety as a priority. Now, real quick note about the powertrain. We got two options with this car. You got a 2-liter 4-cylinder or a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder, both naturally aspirated options. This is the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder. You can see the numbers on the screen. I did mention the rearview mirror is not automatic dimming. It's an option to get it like that. The side mirror is not automatic dimming either, but that's not typically something you'll see at this price point. Now, I'm going to turn the automatic high beams on just for a bit to see if they stay on with street lights here, which so far they are. Some cars turn them off, like right now they're off actually. So Subaru just shut them off. And even with little inputs of the steering wheel, the adaptive lights move quite a bit. But I'm kind of surprised the high beams are off right now. They don't necessarily need to be on, but sometimes you might want them on in certain situations. But we'll see how they do on a dark road in a sec. Just a quick note, we're on the same road and they just turned on. There's a car coming and they turned off, so that was good. Nice and responsive with this automatic high beam. We'll see if they turn on after this car goes away. Might be too bright from the street lights. All right, y'all, we're about to get on a darker road now. We'll zoom in on the headlight so you can get a closer look, especially at how this adaptive function does. I mean, even at low speeds, you can see just how much the adaptive function moves, which is fantastic. Okay, so we have some cars in front of us. The automatic high beams are on. They just turned off. I'm gonna give them a little space so we can actually test out these high beams. But you can see the beam pattern from these headlights, which you'll be able to see a little better once we flatten out. That car is out of sight now and the high beams turned on. So this is what we're looking at. This road is really nice and bright now. Okay, low beams are on. That is because of the car. I did not do that. But let's see what it looks like going around this corner. Oh yeah, they turned up the corner immediately. High beams turned on by themselves. I'm gonna turn them off so we can see how these low beams do. These low beams are doing great going around the corner. I hope you could see just how much those headlights were moving. Now, low beams are on again. I've got good distance. I can definitely tell better than a lot of cars. There's a lot where there's a significant cutoff line. This is better. Okay, now automatic high beams are back on. They're still low beams, but I got the automatic function turned on. There might just be enough lighting around from houses. Okay, they're back on. Ooh, and they're off. That was a little longer than I would have liked to see for that other car, but the adaptive function's working fantastic here. We've got cars out in front of us now, but you can see how far these low beams reach. Low beams don't always get a lot of good credit because they're super short and they try to keep them low so they don't blind people, but I haven't had anybody flash me with these lights, which is fantastic. High beams back on. Seems extra bright with these cones here. Let me turn them off, and then for the width here, look to the sides. Fog lights on, fog lights off. Fog lights definitely help as far as the width of the headlights, which is always good too. Doesn't have to be foggy or rainy or anything like that. And here's a look at the low beams, high beams, low beams, and high beams. All right, so this is interesting. This is where I would usually take you guys when it's really dark out, so we can see how well things look around corners. But we have lights here now, but I'm still gonna take you here so you can get a good look at how these lights do. So going to the left, little cornering function there, and they are pretty wide. I can definitely see well in the dark. There's good width to these headlights, even though they did cut off on the wall. Real life scenario, these headlights have done a great job. I wish we had a little more ambient light option, and I'm not a big fan of this shining right down at a phone screen, but overall easy to use and operate in here, and the headlights do a great job. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a thumbs up if you did, and check out the full review coming soon.